secure and secured all night.
Hello everyone, welcome to your pre-match thoughts on the games 4th of December 2024 against Kilmarnock again at the stadium. I'm joined to share thoughts with Ross. How are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, Bill. I'm good. I'm really good. Thanks for having me on. Pretty encouraged. I know a lot of fans won't be, but I was quite encouraged with the result of the weekend and the performance and some spells in that first half. So hoping for a great result tonight at home at Ibrox.
Well, let me just stay on that point, Ross, because, you know, I've been a bit negative in recent weeks, certainly on the podcast. I'm actually a bit happier in real life, to believe it or not. But it was just a comment made by one of our podders. I can't remember who it was, but it was along the lines of, if you take that result out of context, it's a good result. We come off the back of a fantastic result midweek in Europe. We go to an away ground that's, you know, known for being a bit of a stodgy playing surface. This weekend actually wasn't the case. The team normally St Johnstone play 11 men in front of the ball. They didn't this weekend, but we still got a 1-0 result. My issue with that is it isn't in context, is it? It's this whole umbrella of how this season has went.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. But as well, within the context of how badly we've been playing recently, I think there was moments in that game that we played some really nice football. We were dynamic. We moved the ball forward pretty quickly. Seemed to be not dwelling on the ball as long as we probably have been recently. And I just felt like we had a bit more of a, albeit not a sort of a clinical edge, a bit more of a cutting edge with our passing, and it seemed a bit more purposeful. So that was encouraging. Not as much ball being played around the back, which again is something that's been very frustrating for us Rangers fans watching it. I think sat there kind of screaming, is this kind of Gio's horseshoe all over again? But yeah, I was encouraged by it. I was really encouraged, and following the Nice result as well, I would have taken a win by any stretch. So it's not a terrible place to be in.
Well, the first comment we had, one of the first comments in the chat there was a nice team selection from Mr. Clement. So let's have a look at that team selection just now. So I'll go through the team. Ross, starting in goal, Butland, Tavernier, Suter, Balogun, Jeffrey. Pretty much standard at this stage.
I think so. I think, yeah, I guess it's concerning that our kind of new centre back, who's meant to be this leader who's come in, is on the bench. We'll maybe come on to that in a few minutes. But for me, Suter and Balogun are by far the best centre backs that we've got. So it's pleasing to see them starting together.
I'm particularly pleased with this. Raskin, Diamandi, Hadji. So it's not the holding two midfielders, at least the kind of defensive-minded midfielders. Are you happy with that?
Yeah, I am. I think it's quite harsh on Barron. I don't think the guy's doing anything wrong. He clearly wants to play as many minutes as he can. For me, the natural, my thoughts on Diamandi. Probably people watching know my thoughts on Diamandi, but I think Barron's done more to earn his position in the team than Diamandi has. And I think Raskin and him work really well. So if there was one concern, it would be Diamandi in that role. Now, whether or not it's tactical and Diamandi's playing more like an 8 and getting forward to support that sort of front line and maybe going beyond Hadji, then time will tell. But yeah, it's positive. It's positive.
Yeah. I think that we are going to probably face the same Kilmarnock tactics as we've faced for a number of years. That they're probably going to be letting us have the ball. We've criticised since Gerrard times of having two holding midfield players. I do hope Diamandi's played a lot further forward and we're not stuck with the passing round the back. Do you feel that Barden has been kind of doing that role that Lundstrom was doing, like coming collecting the ball off of the centre halves and not really progressing it forward, when you maybe should be taking that ball and just into the opposition's half rather than coming into ours?
Yeah, I hear you. I guess my thoughts are that it tends to be when one of the wing backs goes forward, Barron drops in like Ryan Jack kind of did, that more just to provide another body at the back. I understand he picks the ball off the centre backs quite a bit, and to me that's not a huge issue. I think that the other element, and it's clearly he's being asked to do it, so I don't think it's a Barron problem. It's probably more of a tactical problem. But I think, his play with Raskin and the way he's almost kind of helped Raskin and shielded him enough to get until Raskin gets the minutes in his legs, has been great. And the pair of them are just fantastic to watch. They really are just a pleasure to watch together. Two old school, breaking up the ball in centre midfield, distributing the ball nicely, letting the creative players do the work. For me, they're a perfect partnership in there. So strange to see it disturbed, but we'll go with it.
I personally am happy that Hadji keeps his place. I think we were a lot more creative round the box, even though we didn't get, we only got the one goal at the weekend. It seemed like he was trying things that we've not been seeing. And I think you were on the same side as me, that we wanted things sorted out with his contract back when there was issues. He did talk to the press yesterday where he was kind of coy about it, but it was quite obvious for everyone to see that. That was the reason he wasn't playing, and I'd much rather he was playing on the park than sitting at the side taking a wage. Where do you think he's going to fit in with Czerny and Igaman? And is it going to be a 4-4-2 or a 3-5-2? Is that right?
I mean, yeah. I mean, you could look at it as a 3-5-2, and it could be that. I'm guessing he won't be. I think it'll be just the 4-3 or 4-2-3-1 probably would be where we'll play. I think what Hadji does really well, and I noticed it in the game, is he floats. He needs to be given that, because I don't think he's restrained enough to have a defensive duty in which he tracks back on like a winger would. I think he's got the ability to create really decisive passing, and those through balls into sort of in beyond the defenders that Igaman, Czerny, and Danilo will get on and latch onto. I mean, it's exciting, Billy. This is the first time that I've seen a lineup and gone, we're going for it here. We've got a lot of talent and we're putting them out on the pitch. It's great to see.
And I guess you're probably thinking with your comments there that Igaman's going to be on the left and Danilo is the centre forward. Is that what you see?
Yeah, I think so. Look, I don't have a problem with it. In essence, but both of Igaman's goals away in Nice were from off the left. He closes people down very quickly. He can clearly cut in. He's got a trick or two in him. So whilst I don't want to have him pigeonholed as a left winger, as I don't think anyone does, because I think he's a very good striker. I think he could still offer something out there. I've got a question for you, Billy. Bayrami not in the team. What do you make of that?
I think just based on what the manager was saying yesterday, that he's had to play pretty much all the games. It may just be taking a chance to pull him out of that starting lineup. We've got Hadji now. I'm not saying Hadji is the next coming of Brian Laudrup, but we've got Hadji playing well. I think he looks more creative than Tom Lawrence did, as much as he's not scoring, as much as Tom Lawrence did. Each of these players in the number 10 bring, same with centre forwards, they bring a different quality that we've, horses for courses to a degree, but on Bayrami himself, I think it's just he's had so many starts. Still would like to see him play starting in number 10. That'll be you.
Yeah. I'd like to see it as well. But I think you're right in what you're saying, though, that they each bring something different, don't they? And options is something we just haven't been blessed with recently. So to have that, I'm all for it.
I'll bring the team back up so we can talk about the subs in a wee minute. But there was something that crossed my mind this afternoon, and that's with the AGM being tomorrow. Do you think that factors in the manager's mind that if things go wrong, this could, the board won't be able to cope with him being there tomorrow? So if things had to go wrong, is he playing this kind of really swashbuckling looking side as a last throw of the dice?
It's interesting. It is interesting, but I wouldn't say so. I genuinely don't think he's being tactical in it and in the way that he's putting this team out. I think what he's seeing is that the players that he needed to work on their fitness are probably at a level now that he can actually make them, put them in from the start. So he mentioned quite a bit about Igaman. He came in with an injury, and he's been building up to the sort of the trials and tribulations of Scottish football. Hadji's obviously not played a lot of first team football, and I still think there's levels above that, loads of levels. This is just him breaking back into the team. He's got miles ahead of him. Danilo's been on the bench and got minutes sporadically here and there, and he's made a difference when he's been in. But I think what we're seeing now, and obviously Raskin, who was out for out of the sort of spotlight for years, probably 18 months. So look, what I think it is more now we're starting to see a team that is up to speed with the numbers that they're putting out on the training pitch and the sort of the physicality of the game. So I think Clement now has the trust that he can start from them from the start. Would be my take, but feel free to disagree.
No, I don't. It was. I think we have a special report on the AGM after it tomorrow, so please we'll publicise that more, I guess, on the socials tomorrow after the game. But it was more that I came across that message talking about that I'm like, me and Cammy talked about this before the Dundee United game, and when if things go wrong, this could be his Aberdeen for Michael Beale. It just seems like every game at home at the moment could be his Michael Beale or Giovanni moment. And I don't want to feel like that. I normally, even under Bale, I went into home matches thinking, well, we're going to score 3 or 4 goals. It's just been a little bit of is it death by 1,000 cuts or something this season? But I've said this in a number of pods. If I look at these individual players, mate, I think they're good enough players. It's just whatever is whether it's been the injuries and not being able to sustain the minutes that has caused his problems. But I mean, I look at Bayrami and I think he's a great player. Czerny, I think, is a really good player. Hadji, I think, is a really good player. Connor Barron, for me, has been a light in the darkness this season to a degree. Raskin's been quite, he's much improved this season. So what isn't clicking up front? Because we're not losing a lot of goals. And then I guess we could probably bring back Robin Proper on that in a wee second, because you mentioned the bell earlier on, but I don't even mean it's a team of individuals. It's just not clicking in the literally the final 6-7 yards.
Yeah, I said it, and this is an overly used phrase, but I do think a team is going to get a scalping soon. I honestly do. I really think and it could be tonight. In fact, I'm going to say it will be tonight. I think they're going to get up, and feel free to clip me, anyone, if it doesn't come to fruition. But tonight's the night. Honestly, we're turning up tonight. I can feel it. We're turning up.
Good stuff. And you mentioned Robin Proper. That is a concern. We shouldn't be spending any of our budget on a player who sits on the bench. We obviously lost Connor Goldson. We all thought he was coming in as a starting centre half, and for whatever reason, look, Fabio Cardoso didn't do well. Got broken nose or whatever in the game against Motherwell, the semi-final, I think it was, and then went on. Is he playing for Porto? He's went on and played at a higher technical level. There's just sometimes this happens. I don't really wish Robin Proper any ill will. I think he comes across well. He just obviously isn't used to this style of. Again, feel free to disagree with me, mate. You look like you.
Do you know what? I do disagree. I don't really feel sorry for him. I think when he's coming out with comments like he's come out with saying, that's about the standard up here and stuff. I think it's some players are willing to get into a battle, and up here you need to be willing to. Some people are, and some people just aren't. They're just reasonably lightweight, and he's a lightweight guy for a big character. I've never seen anyone who goes to ground quicker for a slide tackle. Never seen anyone who gets beaten for pace more. He's not great in the air. I mean, he's fine, but he's not great in the air. I'm just not sure. Well, look, I understand the logic of bringing him in. So to me, I don't blame Clement for bringing him in. I genuinely don't. I don't think the guy's. He's got everything in his attributes to be good, genuinely, in terms of his physicality and his sort of leadership qualities, which I think he has. It's just not happening, as you say, and that's fine. But as long as we don't make too many of these mistakes. But what I would say is I think the recruitment on a whole has been okay. I wouldn't say there's been anyone apart from Proper that's really that on this kind of summer window that I would say has been extremely poor. But it is frustrating when it's your kind of starting centre back that is pretty crap. To call a spade a spade.
Well, fair enough. I'm maybe just being. I just think he come across well, and I had high hopes for him. And remember, there was one thing that was mentioned about him, how he was always in the referee's face when he played his last club, and that's what I felt we were lacking. Nobody really questioned the referee in our team. I know the captain's meant to be the only one, but he had a reputation for winding other players up. And we don't really have that kind of character in the team that gets under the skin of the opposition. We're a bit too meek. Let's look at the subs before we go, because it is just meant to be a brief chat before the game. Do we have a stronger looking bench nowadays? Are you happy with that? I mean, Barami's on it, Redvan's on it, Dowell's on
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Dowell aside, yes, certainly. Even 3-4 weeks ago, mate, it's far stronger than what it was then. And that, look, we've got Cortez, we've got Matondo, we've got Lawrence to come back, who'll no doubt fill some of these areas. I'd like to see Nsiala start to make his way into the subs bench as that kind of next centre back to come on.
I think he got a red card last night in the B team game.
I heard that. I heard that.
Off the ball incident.
Was it? Maybe that's
yeah.
your man.
So
then,
yeah,
wind up man. But yeah, I go ahead.
No, I was cutting across you, mate. But I was just kind of saying that. Not that the manager does do it, but it's frustrating when things aren't going well. He swaps like for like. I would like some options there that mean we can change what we're doing, rather than just bringing Dowell on for the number 10 role, bringing Dessers on for Danilo. Well, it would be nice to have a bit more options that way. But January's fast approaching. We can always hope for some reinforcements then. So what's your final thoughts on the... You've already said you think they're going to take a tanking tonight. One thing that goes in their favour with this this type of tactics Kilmarnock will probably use is it's pretty wet tonight. So the ball could go anywhere, it could spin anywhere. It's likely to do that in their half an hours because we'll have the ball. So I might agree with you, mate. I think it might be a tanking tonight. I'm going to go for 4-0.
I was thinking 4-0, but I'll go 5-0 just to set a difference. I think, look, if I was Clement, I'd be saying get plenty of shots away from the start. Hadju, he can hit the ball with both feet. Cherney, very good with his left foot. And Igaman just off the back of 2 great goals in Europe. So we've got options up there. I think I'm going to go 5-0. I think we'll be hopefully in the second half get to see Redvan back on, get minutes in his legs and a few others. But look, this could be a turning point. I know it's every game could be, but this is on the back of a great European result, an improved performance, and a result at the weekend, albeit not a glamorous result. And this is a great chance with a really strong team out. If we can't do it with this team tonight, we don't stand a chance. So let's really hope we do it, Bill.
Okay, mate. Well, you've made me believe as well. I'm all aboard the Ross Railroad. I can't think of anything better than that. Please, I'll be on after the game with Scotty. Ross, feel free to come on if you want as well, if you're kicking about. But at the moment, it's me and Scotty.
See if we get 5-0 or not. I'll whether I show my face.
Right, okay. So that's a promise. You'll come on if it's 5-0. Perfect.
I will.
Well, we hope, honestly, mate, I hope you enjoy the game. Hope everyone else enjoys the game that's watching. And we'll catch you in a couple hours, and hopefully your team wins. Thanks, guys.